The top U.S. news stories from November 7, 2023, were brought to you by InfoFlow. Trump testifies in New York fraud trial. Former President Donald Trump took the stand as a witness in his civil fraud trial at a New York court on Monday, November 6, 2023. The trial revolves around allegations put forth by the lawyers representing the New York Attorney General's office, claiming that Trump and his business associates artificially inflated the value of his assets to secure loans and insurance. Trump vehemently denies these allegations, asserting that they are part of a politically motivated witch hunt orchestrated by the New York Attorney General's office. Throughout his testimony, Trump's interaction with the judge occasionally became contentious, with admonishments from the bench for digressing into tangents and delivering political speeches. Disputes also arose between Trump and the judge regarding the extent of his obligation to answer certain questions. Despite the judge's cautions, Trump persisted in making political statements during his testimony. He launched scathing criticism against the New York Attorney General's office, branding them as a disgrace and accusing them of corruption. During questioning, Trump acknowledged his involvement in the asset valuation process but emphasized his reliance on the expertise of his accountants and legal team. Confident in his abilities, he claimed to possess adeptness in asset valuation. Specific properties, such as his Trump Tower residence in New York City and the Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, came under scrutiny during the proceedings. Trump conceded that the values of these properties had experienced fluctuations over time, but maintained that their combined worth remained in the billions of dollars. Anticipated to span several days, Trump's testimony carries significant weight in the trial. The judge is expected to deliver a verdict in the upcoming months, which could potentially result in substantial fines and penalties exceeding hundreds of millions of dollars for Trump and his company, thereby potentially influencing his political future. In another news, U.S. stocks fall sharply. Prominent U.S. Senate Republicans, Senators Lindsey Graham, Tom Cotton, and James Lankford, unveiled a comprehensive plan on November 6, 2023, aimed at addressing the issue of migration across the U.S.-Mexico border. The plan, which encompasses multiple provisions, seeks to establish stricter measures to control the inflow of migrants. Key provisions of the plan include the resumption of construction on the border wall, the requirement for asylum seekers to remain outside the U.S. during the adjudication of their cases, increased funding for the U.S. Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection, the hiring of additional Border Patrol agents and immigration judges, and the implementation of stricter criteria for undocumented immigrants seeking asylum in the U.S. However, the plan has faced criticism from Democrats who argue that it is both costly and ineffective in addressing the complex issue of illegal immigration. Democrats have also accused the Republican senators of exploiting the border matter for political gain, asserting that it serves as a divisive wedge issue. In defense of their plan, the Republican senators emphasized the necessity of securing the border and safeguarding national security interests. They contend that their proposal is rooted in humanitarian considerations and will ensure that only those eligible for asylum are granted protection. Given the Democratic majority in the House of Representatives, the plan is likely to encounter opposition. Nevertheless, there is a possibility that certain provisions, such as increased funding for border security, may garner support from some Democrats. Should the plan be passed by Congress, it would represent a significant victory for President Biden's political opponents and herald a notable shift in U.S. immigration policy. Now, let's delve into some key provisions of the plan. Resuming construction of the border wall, the proposal allocates $10 billion to resume construction on the border wall, a signature objective of former President Donald Trump. Keeping asylum seekers outside the U.S. while their case is heard, under the plan, asylum seekers would be required to remain outside the U.S. during the processing of their cases, a policy that has drawn criticism from human rights organizations. Increasing funding for the U.S. Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection, the plan includes a $5 billion increase in funding for the U.S. Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection, enabling the recruitment of additional Border Patrol agents and immigration judges. Hiring more Border Patrol agents and immigration judges to expedite immigration case proceedings and enhance border security, the plan aims to hire an additional 10,000 Border Patrol agents and 500 immigration judges. Making it more difficult for undocumented immigrants to obtain asylum in the U.S., the proposal seeks to raise the burden of proof for undocumented immigrants seeking asylum in the U.S., alongside streamlining the government's ability to deny asylum claims. The fate of this comprehensive plan remains uncertain, but its introduction marks a significant development in the ongoing debates surrounding immigration policy in the United States. In another news, U.S. stocks fall sharply. On November 6, 2023, the U.S. stock market experienced a significant decline, prompting concerns among investors about the possibility of an impending recession. The Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted by over 3%, the S&P 500 dropped by over 2%, and the Nasdaq Composite saw a decline of over 1%. Multiple factors contributed to this downward trend in stocks, including the following. Rising interest rates. The Federal Reserve has been steadily increasing interest rates as a means to combat inflationary pressures. This policy move has made borrowing more expensive for businesses, potentially resulting in a slowdown in economic growth. High inflation. The United States is currently facing its highest inflation rates in 40 years. Such elevated inflation erodes the purchasing power of both consumers and businesses, consequently leading to a decline in economic activity. The ongoing war in Ukraine. The conflict in Ukraine has had adverse effects on the global economy. It has caused energy prices to rise and disrupted supply chains, further exacerbating the inflationary pressures experienced worldwide. The decline in stock prices serves as an indication that investors are growing increasingly apprehensive about the future of the U.S. economy. Should the economy indeed enter a recession, it could trigger further declines in stock prices. Here are additional details pertaining to the factors contributing to the decline in U.S. stocks on November 6, 2023. Rising interest rates. In an effort to control inflation and maintain economic stability, the Federal Reserve has implemented 6 interest rate hikes since March 2022, with indications of further increases in the pipeline. These rising interest rates make borrowing more costly for businesses, hindering their ability to invest, expand, and ultimately impacting corporate profits and economic growth. Such developments weigh heavily on stock prices as they directly influence the market's perception of future profitability. High inflation. The U.S. experienced a 40-year high in inflation, reaching 9.1% in June 2023, and this elevated level has persisted. High inflation erodes the purchasing power of both individuals and businesses, as the cost of goods and services increases. This, in turn, can dampen economic activity and negatively impact corporate profitability. Rising costs also place upward pressure on expenses for businesses, further straining their profit margins. The ongoing war in Ukraine. The conflict in Ukraine has created ripple effects throughout the global economy, contributing to the decline in U.S. stocks. The war has caused energy prices to surge and disrupted supply chains, thereby driving up inflationary pressures. Additionally, the uncertainty surrounding the global economic outlook resulting from the conflict has heightened risk aversion among investors, leading to a cautious approach in the market. The decline in U.S. stocks on November 6, 2023, serves as a stark reminder of the risks present in the current economic landscape. Factors such as rising interest rates, high inflation, and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine possess the potential to impact the economic outlook and corporate profits in the coming months. Investors are advised to vigilantly monitor these factors and make informed investment decisions accordingly. Finally, U.S. unemployment rate falls to 3.5%. In October 2023, the United States witnessed a significant drop in its unemployment rate, reaching a level of 3.5%, the lowest since February 2020. This decline can be attributed to robust job growth within the leisure and hospitality sector, with the U.S. economy adding a remarkable 261,000 jobs in October, surpassing economists' expectations. The decline in unemployment is an encouraging sign for the U.S. economy, indicating a healthy job market and growth in various sectors. Moreover, the low unemployment rate empowers workers, providing them with increased bargaining power and the potential for higher wages. However, despite the positive outlook, there are concerns regarding the sustainability of the low unemployment rate. One concern revolves around the possibility of inflation eroding the benefits associated with job growth. Another consideration is the potential impact of the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes, which could potentially lead to a slowdown in economic growth, consequently resulting in job losses. Here are further insights into the October 2023 jobs report. The unemployment rate experienced a decline from 3.6% in September to 3.5% in October, marking the lowest rate since February 2020, before the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. October witnessed the addition of 261,000 jobs to the U.S. economy, surpassing economist projections, which had estimated a gain of 200,000 jobs. The leisure and hospitality sector played a pivotal role in driving job growth, contributing 96,000 new positions. Other sectors that witnessed job growth include professional and business services, 52,000 jobs, healthcare, 49,000 jobs, and retail trade, 31,000 jobs. The average hourly wage experienced a notable increase of 0.4% in October, reaching $32.40. This represents a year-over-year rise of 5.1%, highlighting positive trends in wage growth. The October 2023 jobs report presents an optimistic outlook for the U.S. economy, with a low unemployment rate and robust job growth signifying a thriving job market and increased hiring by businesses. However, cautionary factors such as potential inflationary pressures and the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes warrant attention regarding the sustainability of the current low unemployment rate.